As soon as I take this shirt off of here, I dried this shirt this morning. Oop, more shirts. Today, I'm going to tell you a story about my time with the super luxury yacht, Octopussy. So the story begins, well, of course, as all of you people know by now, I used to own a barge and crane service that I built deck and dock systems. The name of the company was On Time Backhoe. No, that was not the name of that company. That was the name of my company in Florida, my excavation company. The Decks and Docks was the name of the company. No, that wasn't the name of that was a different company. That was a different, Michael Fazio's Marine Construction. That's what was the name of that company. Okay, and that was located in Queens, New York. I was based out of a small community called Howard Beach. So what I want to tell you about today is sometimes I would have to work in, some little area where you didn't have to worry about insurance, little things like that, workman's compensation, little things like that. When you're in business for yourself, there's a lot of overhead. But sometimes you get a job, and in this case, I got a job in a place called Mill Basin, Millbasin, and on East 66th Street. And the way that you would get into Mill Basin was you would enter into the harbor from a place called Kings Plaza. Kings Plaza, Kingsplaza. And that's where the Kings Plaza Mall was. So you would come in, you'd head out towards the ocean from Kennedy Airport. And at some point, you'd make a right and go into the Kings Plaza Harbor. And then you would follow that down to the end of the waterway, and then you'd make a right. And when you got to that section of the waterways, you'd enter into an area called Mill Basin. And they didn't name it Kings Plaza for nothing. They had a real scenario behind the word Kings Plaza. You got to understand that there's money in New York City, and then there's money in New York City. There's old money, and there's new money. So Mill Basin was an area that was pretty much nothing more than a marshland in the 60s and 70s. And it consisted of, if you went by road, if you went by by car, you'd get off the Belt Parkway and you'd make a right going towards Manhattan. And you'd get to Kings Plaza. And on the corner of Kings Plaza, you'd make a right. And you would go down to a community called Mill Basin. Now, Mill Basin was new and old money, but more specifically, Mill Basin was new money for the rich and powerful of the underworld. Let's call it the underworld. Not the underworld where Big E is going to be residing to teach dating techniques. Big E is going to be residing to teach dating techniques in the Church of Christians Plus. Wow, that's good news. Big E, talking about Big E, and he appeared on the screen. Wow. Yes, you were right when you sent me the message that Google is doing strange things to our channels, Big E. I posted, 1-minute videos, a few of those in the last 2 days, I think 4. And I think the highest amount of views I got was 87. So they're not sending out notifications. Thank you for telling me that, but I already know. With 19,000 subscribers, how can I possibly get 37 views on a video I posted 23 hours ago? Honeyco Baby, we still didn't get to your shout out. It's loaded though, Honeyco. It's loaded though, honey co, honey co, honey co, honey co. It's loaded. That shout out. I think it's loaded. I'm down to. I'm down. I did 11. I loaded 11 videos, honey co, and I have 16 more. So, but I think yours is loaded. I'll get to posting that probably within the next few days. I'm just going to post 2 or 3 at a time. I posted Scott Del Fuego, the wordsmith, shout out, and Canoy in the Philippines, shout out, the rocks. Canoy rocks. Scott Del Fuego. I showed you an undersea typewriter because of the wordsmithing that Scott Del Fuego does. I showed you where the words come from. So Page High. You saw that. Page High. Dr. Page High is in the house. He saw that yesterday. You gotta laugh at this. Okay, first of all, Page High says, I saw a video that Michael Fazio posted, and I had 5 dislikes in 60 seconds. 60 seconds. So, if you don't think that I'm pissing people off in groups and hordes, think again. And we haven't even started yet. So, we're going to talk about some things today that may or may not upset people, but we are going to gather some thumbs down in this live stream, that's for sure. So Page High, what he's reflecting is the same thing that Big E is said to me in a comment, that Google is not only not sending out my notifications, but now when whoever is getting the notifications has the ability to give me 5 thumbs down in 60 seconds. So when I posted the video, I looked at it, maybe 3 or 4 minutes later, because I was titling and preparing notes for a second shout out. And when I went to the video, it had 5 thumbs down and 0 thumbs up. Okay, so we have what I would call an immature, underachiever, jealous person out there, or persons that has nothing else to do with their life, whether it's a he or a she, I'm not sure, but they have nothing else to do with their life other than to go to their home page and then switch from one account to another, push a thumbs down, switch the account again, push the thumbs down, switch the account again. Because I can't possibly imagine 5 different people giving a video that they didn't watch a thumbs down. But be that as it may, there are people out there that are jealous of people that are overachievers. There are people out there that are jealous of everything and everyone in general. So to those people, let's give them a shout out. Let's shout out the underachievers of the world. Let's shout them out. Shout out, shout out, shout out. The fact that you have the ability to give thumbs down in and of itself is incredulous. That you have this time and you have this monumental effort that you put forth to go to people's videos, whoever you are, and push the thumbs down button. It shows me the tenacity that you possess. So for you, I give you a thumbs up for tenacity, but for your ability to comprehend overachievers, I don't know what you people could rate the person or persons that give the thumbs down. You could rate them on a scale from 1 to 10 if you like. But there is in this world over and underachievers. So which are you? Which are you? So we know Dr. Page High is an overachiever. We know Dr. Clark Henderson, who also comes to my channel, overachiever. Big E in Cebu, overachiever. Scott Del Fuego, overachiever. Canoy in the Philippines, overachiever. And in her own right, she Corsairs overachiever. Because look what she did in 9 months. 5,000 plus subscribers in 9 months. Is her content something that I would watch? No, not necessarily so. But for the Filipino community, it's great content. For the view of the Philippines people and how they react and interact with one another, it's great content. But I can't watch a 4-hour live stream from Chi Corsairs. Just like perhaps Chi Corsairs is not going to be interested in my documentary on my time that I spent with Octopussy. And this is a true story. So I can't recall all the names, but I'll give you a scenario how I met Octopussy and why she cost me $17,500. BK, hello, Michael. That's a name that I'm familiar with, but I don't remember. You've been a subscriber for a long time, and thank you for stopping by, BK. So let me tell you the Octopussy story. So I have this barge and crane service. Well, I should back up when I worked for Neil. Okay, so Neil was a guy whose house I went to. He lived on 91st Street, near 162nd Avenue. I don't remember his exact address. So Neil calls me up, probably in sometime in the late 70s or the early 80s, and he asks me, I'm doing fine, thank you, BK. Neil is he's the owner of a 2-story house in New Howard Beach, and he asks me to put a couple of things in his house, a door, and also around his fireplace. It was a rock fireplace. He asks me to put molding around his fireplace. So it was a round rock, and it had like shale rocks mixed in with it, and the rocks went like all in and out and in and out and in and out, and as much as 2.5 or 3 inches. So the person that did the work in the house, he just stuck a piece of molding up against the rocks, and you saw space between the rocks and the molding. It was just it's hard to describe, but the rocks went in and out like this, and the molding went straight. So when Neil calls me up, I was just in my early 20s. He says to me, wants me to put in a door, a front door, and some other stuff, and because he heard that I was a good carpenter. And then when I was done with that, he goes, can you put molding around this fireplace? I said, yeah, I could do that. And so what was Neil's position in life? At the time, he was a police officer. And how he bought a $150,000 house on a $29,000 a year police salary, I'll leave that up to you. So I tell him, look, we're going to have to use this very wide, it's 5-inch molding. We're going to have to use some 5-inch molding. Stuff at that time, the molding was over $1 a foot, and it was clear white pine molding, and then I would make a nice job of it. And it was just 2 sides of a fireplace until it got to the mantle, like at about the 5-foot height. It was a real fireplace. So I go to, the name of the lumberyard was, oh God, I forget the name. I used the lumberyard for 25 years. What was the name? Now it's called New Era, Newera. You can call up Frank Russo, talk to Leon, or you can talk to Renee. They still work there. The telephone number is 529-0995. I remember that number because I've been calling it since 1970. Okay, so you can ask them if I was a good carpenter. Talk to Leo, Jewish fella, Frank Russo, and Leo are partners, and now Renee is the son-in-law of Frank Russo. Ask them if I was a good carpenter. Go ahead. Call them up. Area code 718-529-0995. 0995. 09. If you said O, when you were coming into for a rotation, they tell you to make another pass. So I try not to say oh. So the number is 5290995. So anyway, I buy this molding, and then I take it's a kind of, it's not really a story stick, but it's an object about this long, about 7 inches long, and it has like 100 needles, little pieces of metal, hardened steel, and you push it up against something, and it forms. It forms to the contour of the thing you're pushing up against. So I have this, and then of course I had a pencil, which eventually I ended up just using a compass with a piece of lead in it, because that is for a smaller job. So I tried it with that just as a test piece, and I didn't like that. So then I just held the compass, and where the rocks went in, the rocks went out. And then I cut it, but I left a little bit extra on in all the cuts. Like I left an extra 3/16 or a 1/4 inch on. Then I put it up against the rocks, because some of the rocks had an inverted contour to them. So if I would have just cut it to the parallel, then when you pushed it up against the most inward part of the rocks, there'd be a space where the rock went down. So I left the extra 1/4 inch, and then I placed the moldings, I faced them onto the rocks. So not only did it have the right contour, but if there was a dip in it, that material was still left onto the fireplace. So I don't know how I was getting paid. Probably Neil paid me by the hour, because he had so many things that he wanted done around his house. I was fixing readjusting kitchen cabinet doors. So to make a long story short, so I do these 2 moldings, I take them off, they're perfect. There's no space anywhere. And then I stained them, and I took them outside and varnished them like 3 coats, both sides, with something called McCloskey's Marine Spar Varnish. Now, you got to remember, I had just built a boat, a 21-foot cabin cruiser. So I was really into doing all of these angles and stuff like that. Now I don't hear from Neil. This is in the late 70s. I don't hear from Neil again for probably 5 years. I get a phone call, and I remembered the guy because he was very good to me. He bought breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And there was another guy that he stayed with. The guy wasn't a cop. I think he worked the streets, this guy. It was the good guy, bad guy, cop routine, whatever it was. And he's there, and I knew the guy from the beach. So now he tells me, Mike, I want to build a deck. And in his backyard, which was the side of his house. These lots were on 60-foot wide lots. What it was they were 40-foot lots, and then there was a lot in between Neil's house and the neighbor's house, and they bought the lot and split it down the middle. So Neil put up 16-foot, 17-foot wide pool by 32 feet long on the side of his house. He goes, I want to build a deck around this pool, but I want something different. So I go over to his house, and I bring him back to some of the custom decks I had built in the early 80s. And he goes, I want one of these, and I want railings. I want railings with benches and the place for the paper cups and paper plates or plates. I want railings with benches that were 18 inches wide, and then at the top of the rail, a 2 by 12 pressure treated piece of lumber for the whoa, we have super chat from telling story time from the Hapsters. Oh my God, so we're gonna sing. So I'll get back. Let's see what the Hapsters have to say. Love, love, love. Thanks for the shout out, Mr. Fazio. I love the ocean, coral, and starfish. Have a wonderful day to you all here on the chat. Aloha. Well, Mrs. Hapster, we did a shout out for Mrs. Hapster yesterday. We have many more shout outs coming, Mrs. Hapster and Mr. Hapster. We have 28 more shout outs coming. 11 of them have been uploaded, but the balance of those have to be loaded after the live stream. So thank you. So we'll sing. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, Mrs. Hapster and Mr. Hapster. Salamat. Thank you very much, dear. And I apologize for not being online last night. I had nothing but complications with my computer. Nothing. My computer shut itself off twice within about an hour and 15 minutes. And I was just like beside myself. Plus I had a busy day yesterday. So to the people that didn't see me online last night, first thing I did is I called up. I found out 2 days ago I needed a pass. I'll get back to the benches in a minute and Neil, because the Octopussy story, this is a true story, and man, it was a great time of my life. Spending time with Octopussy was an amazing thing. I'll also tell you about King, I think it was King Hussein that I met in somewhere in the Chesapeake Bay. So the Hapsters say, oh wow, you are awesome. No worries about that. It's all good, Mr. Fazio. Plenty of time to go. BK says, have a great loving time to the Hapsters. So you guys know each other. And we have Bill from Philippines on Demand in the house. Hello, Mr. Fazio. And he wants to say hello to Mr. Obama. And Mr. Obama appears for Bill, Philippines on Demand. And I wasn't even talking about the length of the yacht. Length? Did I hear length? Mr. Obama, you heard length. The length of Octopussy was amazing. But for now, you want to go swimming, Mr. No! No! All right, Bill, he just stopped in to say hello. You don't want to go swimming. So now, thank you very much, Mrs. Hapster. I'm glad you enjoyed the video. What I got to do is I really should make something a little bit. When I go out to the ocean, to the deep, I did your videos on the way back. I had already been swimming probably 35 minutes. And I swam away from a buoy that you'll see in another upload towards the end of the beach. And then I swam back against the current, which is not much more difficult than swimming with the current. But when you're out there, there's a lot of things that go on in your mind. First of all, you're looking for the box jellyfish. They'll kill you. They will instantly paralyze you, and they'll stop your heart. And so paralyzing, but if they stop your heart, so you got to look for those. You're always looking for sharks, although I've not seen any yet, but they're out there. I did hear of someone catching one about 2 years ago off the beach, right where I'm swimming. I don't remember what kind it was. Then you're also looking for big stuff from the bottom. Turtles, which I only saw one of in the last week. Not so much coral snakes, because they stay in less than 12 feet of water, from what I understand. So I don't see that. But also, your mind gets fatigued. So the shout-outs were only 1 minute shout-outs, and I was tired. So I probably could have did a better job, and next time I'll try to do a better job. I'll try to take more information that I can remember from your channel, the Hapster's channel. And what I'm going to do also, Mrs. Hapster, is all the shout outs, a bunch of buttons, and I'm back. So let me tell you, I was talking about the Habsters and the shout outs that I did. And then I was also talking about Neil and the house that I put the molding around Neil's fireplace. Okay, so I don't even know where to go with this. Every time I start a live stream, it just dies. And I'm not real happy about this. Google, it's either Google or my internet service. This is ridiculous. How many times do you have to start a live stream and for no damn reason whatsoever? No damn reason whatsoever why my live stream should cut out. None whatsoever. So, and then I keep getting these bullshit commercials. Reddit.com, trending on Reddit. Is there a new restaurant called Karma? Doesn't it have a... Who cares? Why am I getting this crap on my screen is the big question. Oh my Google, Summit Entertainment. It's amazing. It's just amazing. It's beyond amazing. It's beyond amazing. It's beyond disgusting that I have to deal with such garbage internet here in the Philippines. And I did, yesterday, I started to tell you how I tried to fix this problem. Yeah, NWO, they just... Summit Entertainment. I put out a video yesterday. I have 20,000 subscribers. It got 37 views in 24. Now it's 24 hours. It got 37 views. Huh. Bill, I already said those words. I guess it was in between the live stream. I know why they're destroying my view counts. First of all, to get off topic, and we're going off topic now. First of all, Google, Yahoo, Skype, Bing, and any other browser, Chrome, or the other whatever other browser you use, Google controls it all. So I got a message from one of my long-term friends yesterday. Is this email private? And I laughed. There's no such thing as a private email. When you sign the agreement for any service on the internet, you also sign an agreement that they can utilize your information. They say it's for advertisement purposes. That's a bunch of nonsense. So it's to well, what happens with me, I'll say something on a telephone conversation. Let's say I'm talking to Big E on the phone, and I'll mention a word. And then the next time I go on to my Yahoo Mail, my mail isn't open, but it's in the background. The next time I go on Yahoo Mail, I'll see an advertisement. Let's say I was talking about the Kruger Signet 3 amphibious airplanes for sale, that I'm going to buy one. And the next time I go on to Google, more so Google than Yahoo for the Kruger, the next time I go on Google and open up my page, on the sidebar will be videos of Kruger Signet 3s for sale. So they listening in on the background. Anyway, Neil's house. Now, Neil is a police officer making $29,000 a year in the 70s. Okay? Got a $150,000 house. He had a brand new, at the time, it was, they were the first minivans made by Dodge, I think, that ever came out. He had one of those. And he had a sports car, and he had a beautiful luxury sedan. One of those, it was the Chrysler Imperial, the big one, the one where you could, well, anyway, I won't talk about that, but it had a big trunk. So I don't hear from Neil for 4 or 5 years. He tells me he wants me to build a pool deck around the pool, but and behind the deck, he wants a jacuzzi area also. So, Mijal Bravo, welcome to the machine. We're doing well. we are staying safe. I'll tell you about the lockdown in the Philippines. My first experience with getting checked for my temperature was yesterday. It was pretty cool. But anyway, so I'm at Neil's house, and I walk around the outside of his house. Hello, John Escape. Just the person that I wanted to talk to in a few minutes. I wanted to ask you to send something to me in a ballot buy-in box, if you would. I know you made an offer, but I don't want to. Give me about 5 minutes to move through the cost of the deck of the pool for Neil. So everything with a deck was by the square foot. The rails were by the lineal foot. So naturally, Neil takes me out to lunch to butter me up. So we went to Greenstein's Delicatessen on Rockaway Boulevard, because Neil had a friend in Mill Basin, Louis. We'll just call Louis the video king, okay? And when Neil wanted the deck built, he said, don't figure out the price of the deck just yet. We're going to go to my friend Louis's house. And Louis owned, I don't know how many, 100 video stores. Remember when the videos were on the big old VHF tapes or the 8-track cassettes? Remember that? They came in a box. Well, okay, so Louis owned about 100 of these stores. Neil, as it turns out, that I found out that day, was a 49% partner with Louis, the king of videos. And I'll tell you how much of a king he was. He was king enough to do something to Blockbuster that would keep them out of the video business on Cross Bay Boulevard for about 4 years. That's how powerful Louis was. He had more power than Blockbusters in the underworld. So I will not mention names here. So now he brings me to Mill Basin. And I know Mill Basin well because I had a partner named Al Velope and Johnny Air. And they had a company, an HVAC company called AJ Valair HVAC. And I worked with Al for about, 2 or 3 years. And I know what years that was. That was the year of 1977 and 1978, 79, 80, and 81. And I started out as a carpenter doing brownstones in Manhattan with Ali and John. And then it moved. We did the brownstone. You've heard me talk about this before. We did the brownstone. Remember in the beginning of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, there was that 7-foot guy that was swinging the knife around? Well, his name was Shree, S-H-R-E-E, Shree Day. And we did his brownstone. I won't tell you, I've already told the story about Shree Day's brownstone. So anyway, I know Mill Basin well because I built Ali's house there, Al Velope's house. And I don't think he'll ever see this video, but if you're still alive, Al and John was much older. John was in his 60s at the time. If you guys are still alive, it was really nice to have known you men. These were real men, Johnny Air and Al Velope. They could do anything. Between the two of them, they build anything, fix anything, repair anything. I installed my first electric motor-operated skylights with them. Al taught me how to do... Al was the first person to show me duct tape. He said, this is a new invention. This is going to make $1 billion. And it did. So he brings me to Neil and another guy in the car, the gangster guy. And then another man was in the car also, who was another partner in another video store. So what this guy, Louis, did was he found people of questionable reputation, became partners with them, because this was an all-cash business, okay? And then they collected 49% of the profit. But the only deal was you don't screw Louis for his money. You put everything goes through the cash register. And they had cameras back then that Louis could, I guess he could watch them from his house. I only went into his kitchen. I never saw the rest of his house. So he brings me to Louis's house. And Louis's house is on East 66th Street in Mill Basin. I could turn the camera around and show you what East 66th Street looks like in Mill Basin, but all the houses are mansions, but they're on the water. So he brings me to Louis's house, and the bulkhead is a good 12 feet higher than the high tide of the water. These houses were built way up above the waterline. So he brings me that and tells me Louis wants a deck around the back of his house. So what they want is Louis's deck, Neil's deck, and the other guy, not the gangster guy, the other guy's deck, I forgot his name, was a Jewish guy. They want a package price for the 3 decks. And I said, there's no way I'm going to do a package price for the 3 decks. I got to build 1 deck, Neil's deck. I got to see if I make a profit on this deck, and then I'll give the other fella, the Jewish fella, a price. And then, because I'll have my tools and equipment and my men in Howard Beach, then I'll go to Mill Basin. Because Mill Basin was a big job. So I do Neil's deck, and that took about 4 months, maybe 4 or 5 months. And then I do the Jewish fella's deck. So Neil's deck was like $60,000. And we're talking 1985, 86, 60,000 for a deck was a large amount of money. But then there was a fence that cost an extra $10,000 for the fence. So it was about, figure $75,000 for Neil's job. Well, the Jewish guy wanted the exact same deck, so I knew what to charge. It was $65,000 and $10,000 for the fence. $75,000. I want $90,000. Well, he got pissed off about that. So I told him, I said, I'll do the job for $90,000, because I didn't make much money at $75,000, but I did a beautiful job, and I got a lot of work from it. So now the Hapsters gave something. The Hapsters pushing the YouTube button. Thank you. So these are all true stories, Mr. and Mrs. Hapster and everybody else out there. So I did it for $75,000 with the fence. It didn't make any money. The other guy had the same type of split property. I won $90,000. So he gave it to me. Well, he didn't have a choice. He had a choice. He could have hired somebody else that couldn't build a deck, or not the way that I built it. Now, all my lumber came from Port, P-O-R-T, Port Lumber. And that was located out at the end of Long Island, Spionk, Long Island, Spionk, I think it was Spionk, Port Lumber, Long Island. Just Google Port Lumber, Long Island. But the bolts, they came from a manufacturing company. I don't know where the bolts were manufactured. These were hot dip galvanized bolts. So they came from They came from Central Islip, or Central. They came from a different part of Long Island. Forgot the name of that guy, Italian guy. So anyway, so the bolts that I have, I should have brought a bolt in. They're still good bolts. That you go to a deck that I built back in the 80s, the bolts are still there and not rusted, and you can still take them apart. And these were called timber bolts. They had heads on them about that big. I was the only person using them at the time, because they were $1.50 a piece for a 6-inch bolt. No nut, no washer. So then Louis's job, I got a bid on Louis's job. Louis was not the kind of guy I really wanted to work for. It wasn't that Louis was eccentric. He was just freaking nuts. He was just nuts. I mean, he was collecting more than, well, the story I heard, he was making $100,000 a day. Okay, money was not an object with Louis. So we're getting to the Octopussy story in a minute. So I do Neil's job, but I don't do the Jewish guy's job for quite a while. I do another guy, John's job, another deck job. All clear cedar lumber. That was about $75,000 too. He saw one of my jobs. He goes, I want everything on angles. I want the rails the same way. So this is over the course, 85. I guess I did Neil's job in 85. I guess I did John's job in 86. Then I did the Jewish guy's job in 87. Because these guys were in no hurry. And they were big jobs, and they required permits that required 6 months. For Louis' permit was like 18 months to get the permit to rebuild his bulkhead and stuff like that. So when I get the permit to build Louis' job, to do his pole work, because we had to replace poles, I didn't even own a barge. So I needed a barge and crane to do that, not just to do that job, but to do other jobs. So I went to Michigan and I bought Barge Dragon. And when I brought it back, that Louis was one of the first jobs I did. So Louis was the king of videos. Nobody else in America or the world rented more videos except Blockbuster. And Louis had a little store on Cross Bay Boulevard. It was about 20. The storefronts were 20 feet wide and about 60 feet deep. And he was doing 10,000 a day in rentals and over fees. That was just his videos that he rented from companies like CBS and Blockbuster and Universal Pictures. Then he had a side business of, there was a little area in the back of the store. It was not cordoned off, but it said private videos, and they were adult videos. So he had that going for him too. This guy. So picture a guy making $100,000 sometimes in a day. Picture this. What this guy, what kind of a nut job he is. He's a nut job. So I give him a price for the job. I don't remember the exact price, but it was more than $125,000. And the guy tells me that's too much money. And I told him to go F himself. Just like that, straight up and down. There wasn't even a conversation about this. I told him, go F yourself. And to get somebody else to do your effing job. Well, that caused a lot of problems. That caused a lot of problems. Because nobody talked to Louis like that. And here's this guy I'm telling you, Louis had 100 stores. Each store was doing between $4,000, $6,000, $10,000, $12,000 a day. So he was bringing in $100,000 a day, total business, cash revenue. Cash, no checks, nobody had a credit card. And he's pulling down in his stores $100,000 a day. Maybe he's making $50,000 a day, every day, cash. And when I told him $125,000, he says, nah, that's too much money. And I just looked at him and told him to go F himself. And I left. Well, then I get a call from Neil. Then I get a call from the Jewish guy. Then I get a call from another guy who says, what did you do to Louis? And I said, what do you mean, what did I do to Louis? Tell him to go F himself. And he goes, well, you don't talk to Louis like that. I said, yeah, well, Louis insulted me. He goes, what did he say to you? I says, I gave him a price for $125,000 to do a job that was worth $125,000. He tells me it's too much money. There's no such thing as too much money for Louis. So after a few days, I went back with Neil and the Jewish guy and the gangster guy and another guy to Louis' house. And we sat down in his kitchen. And the first thing they wanted me to do was to apologize to him. I said, I ain't going to apologize to him. I don't want to do his job. I only went there to get it straightened out. But I thought he was going to apologize to me. So he doesn't. I said, well, just get somebody else to do your job. I don't really care one way or the other. So he gets this guy, Ole, to come in there. Ole West. You've heard me talk about Ole West. Expat Prepper, welcome to the machine. Thank you for stopping by. Expat Prepper, you have a link, so if you want to put your channel link or something that's interesting to you in regarding the Bible or religion, feel free to post it. That's why I gave you a wrench. If you post anything you like. Scott Del Fuego. So Oli comes in. Now Oli I bought a barge to do Louis' job and other jobs. But Oli got a barge and he happens to be in the harbor. So Oli gives him a price to do just the poles. There was like 8 or 10 poles. I don't remember what it was. I had the ability to get creosoted poles from the old North Channel Bridge job that they pulled out of the mud. I got 60-foot sticks. That's what was left of the pilings that were around the clusters around the outside of the bridge. I got them for free. You couldn't buy creosoted poles, but if you could, that size pole was about $1,000 a pole. Chris Alexander, welcome to the machine, the chess king. Chris Alexander is a major Patreon member in my community, in case you don't know. Thank you, Chris Alexander. So we'll sing. Thank you. For Chris Alexander, he's a Patreon member. He gets the pot. We're gonna bang 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 the pot for Chris Alexander, baby. He's a member of my Patreon. And here we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Chris Alexander. Salamat. Now, Chris, one more thing. Okay, this is how people interact on my channel. Chris, I want you to understand, I gave Warren, your email was in the spam box. I looked at it yesterday morning. I gave Warren your email address. So I found it and sent Warren your email address in case he has time or feels up to it to play chess with you. So I did do that. Thank you. So Chris Alexander says, PK4, one night I'm playing Joey K in a chess. And she was so nice after the game. She reached out her hand and shook my hand. Wow. I guess that's quite the compliment coming from Joey K. Congratulations. Chris Alexander is a chess player. And he, to give you, I told you last week that if anybody is on my chat, okay. Oh, I gave you his email. Okay. Either way, it's the other way around. I do a lot of stuff. I did a lot of stuff yesterday. Okay, so so people that ask me to get in touch with other people, whether they're Patreon members or friends of mine or subscribers, if they send me a message with their email, it will go into the spam folder. Once a week I check that, sometimes more, but sometimes less. So Chris asked me if he could get Warren H's email. Now, I know Chris Alexander from Patreon and also from being a subscriber for many, many years. So I gave Chris Warren H's email because Warren likes chess. And they were talking about chess one day. So that's how it works here. So, thank you, Chris. Okay, I forgot which way it was. So Big E in Cebu. Great. Big E in Cebu is here. Oh, he's always in the background, Big E in Cebu. He's always in the background. The interesting thing about Big E in Cebu, I got to, just to get sidetracked away from Louis' job, because this is probably more important than Louis. Big E, he can work Chi Corsair's live stream. He can send and receive emails. He can send and receive Messenger. And you can talk to him on the phone. Plus do his work. Plus prepare the notes for his, what I call Big E Kryptonite at 5 p.m. Philippines time. He can multitask on the computer more so than anybody else I've ever met. I've never met anybody that can do what he does. I mean, he's on Cheap Corsair show. I'll send him a note, and he sends me back a response within like 1 second, and he's still hosting the Cheap Corsair show. Then there'll be a correspondence between Big E and myself, and he'll respond to the correspondence verbally, in words. And he's still hosting the Big E show or the Cheap Corsair show and talking to everybody else. So what I guess I'm trying to say is he's way, way smarter than anybody else I've ever met in my entire life, multitasking on the computer. So the reason I say this is because we hear stories that Big E, and these are bad stories, we hear stories that Big E is a fraud and that he doesn't do all the things that he says he does. He does do all of those things. He is, I'm not going to tell you the name of his company, but now I do know the name of his company. I did not a few weeks ago. I'm not going to tell you the name of the company that he represents, but I will tell you that the accolades and or his name appears as the manager of Asia, period. Asian, all Asia, all, not the Philippines, not China, not Japan, not the Arab Emirate companies, no, not South Korea, not North Korea. No, his name doesn't appear individually as the manager for Japan. His name appears as the manager of Asia. Asia, the whole of Asia. So you have India, Sri Lanka, you have Dubai, you have China, South Korea, North Korea. He's the manager of it all. And he does live streams, and he does YouTube videos, and he assists other people. And it goes, I mean, when I looked at the portfolio for about, if you asked me the name of the company he works for, I would never tell you. I could go back and look at the name of the company, but I don't remember the name of the company. But it's the biggest company in the world that does what they do, and he's the manager of Asia. Okay, so when he told you that he has videos with 100,000 views, and he does tutorial videos on how to do certain things, it's all true. So the people out there, the underachievers of the world, who don't believe that people can achieve success in life like Big E, well, he did it, apparently, because he's got his name on the biggest company in the world that does what they do as the manager of Asia. That's it. He's not like the assistant manager. He's not the co-manager. He's not an underling of the manager. He's the manager of Asia. So go put that in your pipe and smoke it. Underachievers. Lyrish Israel caregiver. Welcome to the machine. Lyrish, I saw that you had a live stream last night. I was sleeping. I apologize. I'll try to get to your next live stream. Something about hands. And my computer was just, I don't know what was going on with my computer. I have no idea. So, good morning, Bishop, says Lyrish. Salamat. So we are talking about one of probably the richest men I ever worked for. Almost. My goal is to be an Paige High is another overachiever. A doctor. Imagine that I have actual overachievers on my page. So Paige High, at some point, shout out, Paige High, at some point when you're an overachiever, every minute of your day is filled up. See, that's something that most underachievers will never understand. So to an underachiever, they don't understand how an overachiever's day is. So Big E, and then Big E does, I don't know if the guy sleeps. I asked him once if he sleeps, he never answered. That was the only question I ever asked Big E. If he ever sleeps, he never answered. Okay, so let me go here. Shout out. Hey, Warren, if you're looking, hello, friend from John Escape. Hello, brother Philippines on Demand from Lyrish. Israel caregiver. You should trademark shout out. Yeah, well, Big E, Chi, and I, Page High, we're going to sing the thank you song and the Chi Corsairs. Chi Corsairs is the originator of the shout out. I am the originator of the thank you song. And Big E and I and Chi Corsairs are going to do a song, and hopefully there'll be other bloggers. I think Expat Prepper is also coming. Hopefully there'll be other bloggers, and we'll all like do. We could do a quartet or as many people that want to sing. That make a really cool introduction video for sure. So Chi Corsairs coined the word, the shout out. That's Chi Corsairs. I'm the thank you very much. And anybody else who even tries to do that looks like a fool. So anybody can do it. It's not a copyrighted or, it's not copyrighted per se, but it is in fact copyrighted. But it's not copyrighted from me per se. I did not send in the $35 to copyright it because I already own the rights to it. I don't need to send in $35 to copyright something that I already own the rights to. So going back to Ole West on the barge, Pinoy Ahoy, I can't sing. When I sing host, the dogs cry, says Pinoy Ahoy. Pinoy Ahoy, you have a wrench. So if you want to post the link to your channel. Now, Pinoy Ahoy spends his channel time doing shout-outs for people in the Philippines, which is why I gave Pinoy Ahoy a wrench. So, Expat Prepper. Okay, so hold on a minute. I lost my screen. Only just timed out. Okay, so Pinoy Ahoy has a channel that gives shout-outs to anybody, but more specifically people in the Philippines. So Pinoy Ahoy, if you want to post links for the people that you want to shout out, post the links to the people that you want to shout out now here, and then people can decide whether or not they want to follow the link. Okay, I don't want you to promote your channel. I want you to promote, okay, now you got it. Okay, so yeah. So that's why I gave you the link, the wrench, because Pinoy Ahoy shouts out other people's channels. Okay, so Philippines On Demand. My Philippines On Demand says, my wife and I are watching your commentary. The wife is laughing. She thinks you are funny. Banging the pot, and Mr. Obama made her laugh. So, POD. This is for POD's wife. Philippines On Bill's wife. Watch me do this. Watch what I can do with Mr. Obama. Mr. Obama. Watch. Philippines On Demand wants to know if you want to go swimming. No! I don't want to go swimming. You put too much weight on me. Mr. Obama, I got new weights. I don't want to go swimming. I don't care. Philippines On Demand. No Philippines On Demand. I don't want to go swimming. Mr. Obama. Hold on. We're not using those old lead weights anymore, Mr. Obama. Philippines On Demand, he bought us a new pair of lead weights. A new pair of weights. They're not lead, Mr. Obama. I don't want to go swimming. Last time you made me sink all the way to the bottom fast. I ran out of air. Well, that's okay, Mr. Obama. No one cares. But look at this, Mr. Obama. Maybe you'll change your... Not going to change my mind. I don't want to go swimming. I don't care. I don't want to go swimming. Mr. Obama, look at Philippines On Demand. He bought new weights. Ooh, I like those. I like the new weights. Philippines On Demand, I love you. Philippines On Demand. Oh, can I play? You bought a new pair of weights for me. I love these weights. What are they? They're steel nuts, Mr. Obama. Steel nuts? Oh my God, where'd you get them from? Philippines on Demand. Thank you, Mrs. Philippines on Demand. Thank you for my steel nuts. Where'd you get those from? She said she got them from a bridge job. She used to be a dock builder. Philippines on Demand. His wife was a dock builder. That's right, Mr. Obama. Whoa, I love you. I love you. I love you so much. Ah, kisses. Kisses for Mrs. P.O.D. Kisses. And Mr. Obama, what do you want to do with... I want to put them on. Well, you don't want to put them... I want them on. Where do you... I'm not going to tell you where I'm going to put them. Give them to me. Give them to me. Give them to me now. I'll take them right now. Okay, Mr. Obama, you take those big steel nuts, weight belts, and you go over there. Woo! 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 Well, you got it going on now, Mr. Obama. I don't want to tell you. I don't want to tell you. I don't want to tell you. So, Mrs. Philippines on Demand, Mr. Obama, he loves you. Loves you. Said thank you for the steel nuts. Everybody loves Mr. Obama. Everybody. Message retracted from Scott Del Fuego is in the house. You know, I missed that previous comment of yours. Where is that? Let's see. I saw a message from Scott Del Fuego up on top before, and I missed it. Okay. Google sent... I think I saw a message from Scott Del Fuego. Ah, here it is. Stories from the roaring 80s in the home of the Teflon Don, Howard Beach, Queens. Comedy and laughter, serious analysis of questions of the unknown universe. Only Michael Fazio provides it all. # scam. We're going to get, being that John Escape is here, we are going to scam John Escape. As soon as I finish this, the king of videos, the story with Louis, the king of videos. So what we did here, all right, so Ole comes in with his barge. He's got a barge in Mill Basin. Now, I only had a 40-foot stick on my 30-ton Lorraine crane. Lorraine, however you want to say it. I had a 40-foot stick. It would not reach from where the deck was. It would not reach where it had to reach, and I couldn't bring my land crane in just because Louis had a pool in the backyard. So, Ole, now my poles, I was charging Louis $1,000 a piece for the pole, not for the labor, and another $500 a piece to put the poles in. Ole comes in and he wants $3,000 a pole. So as it turns out, Ole did some of the poles and I did some of the poles. The ones I could reach, there was no room to work in there. And the reason there was no room to work was because the boat named Octopussy was docked next door to Louis's house. To give you an idea how rich Louis was, the guy, John, he was a car dealer from Brooklyn. I have his name here. Let me go over here. I'll give you the guy's name. He was Salamante or something like that. John Staluppi, Octopussy. He was I'll copy it for you. So he was a car dealer in Brooklyn, and I don't remember what kind of cars that I don't remember what kind of cars he sold, but I'll give you the. Oh, I can't put it there. John Staluppi, Johnstalluppi, Octopussy. So Octopussy was parked at the dock right next door to where I was working. So when it comes time to go do Louis's job and to put the poles in, Louis says to me, by the way, do you have insurance for the barge? And I said, yeah. And I had like a $10,000 policy. He goes, no, you need You need $1 million policy. So I said to him, this is what the problem was with Lou. He always had a scam going. No matter how much money the guy had, he always had a scam. There was always a scam, 2 scams, 3 scams. This guy because he made so much money, he thought everybody was screwing him. So I had to buy insurance from Loydes of London for $17,500 for the season. Not for the year, for the season, a 6-month season. And I paid that. And then I did Sean's job because I had to have insurance to do his job as well. And it turns out that Sean only put me under an umbrella policy for Loydes of London and canceled the policy the day after he gave me the paperwork. That's another scam. Everybody was scamming everybody back in the 80s. So let me get back to my notes here. And then I'm going to talk. Then now I'm about ready to try to pull a scam on you people as well. Expat Prepper. Can I do out for you, Expat Prepper? I'll do an impersonation for free if I can. I will, no charge. I already screwed you twice. If you remember the other day, first you sent me 750 pesos, and then you sent me 1,000 pesos to fix my computer because you gave me that link. I don't know. I still don't know if that link was good or not. So I've already screwed you twice. So for you, I will do an impersonation for free. Yeah. So I'm working on screwing John Escape right now. I got a thing I'm going to do with John. He made an offer. I'm going to take him up on his offer, and then we're going to see if John Escape is a man of his word or not. So I don't know how. Chico says no Friday morning 8 a.m. Phil's time doing NFL draft live. Ha ha. I don't know what that means. I guess you guys are having a conversation. Okay. Oh, you're doing a Tonight Show. So, all right. So now, Lou. So I come in there with my barge, and there's a boat next to me, and it's Octopussy. It's the real boat, Octopussy, because that guy. I don't know if that was his house or not. I never asked. So that guy put the boat there, and then I did the job, and I don't know if I have pictures of it or not, but that guy was from Brooklyn. You could look all that stuff up. He was a car dealer in Brooklyn and Queens, New York. He started off as an automobile mechanic. Then he started putting big motors in boats. Then he built the first 50-knot plus super yacht at 125 foot plus feet. So I had the privilege of working next to that boat, and I also had the privilege of not making a mistake with the crane barge and causing millions of dollars worth of damage to Octopussy. So I treated Octopussy with great respect. I did not do anything fast. The movements I made operating the crane around the back. Now you got to remember something. The boat's over in the next slip. So it's my barge is here, and then the pilings that I was putting in are here, and that's about, say, 4 feet away because we left slack in the rope. And then Octopussy was the next slip over, and those ropes were 5 feet in between the pilings, spider lines, we call them, spider lines. But now, would I hit Octopussy with the crane by swinging? No, I would not do that. But I had 60-foot sticks on the end of my crane, and a 6,000 pounds of lead inside an 18-inch, 10-foot long, half-inch thick steel tube, a drop hammer. Okay, so I had almost 10,000 pounds of weight. I had more than 6,000 pounds of lead in there, but I had almost 10,000 pounds of weight on top of a pole that weighed 4,000 pounds. Okay, so had a cable snapped and had I've been mishapping with the crane. A pole, if I check the cables, I put new cable clamps, opposite directions. You put one way, one the other. You put 3 on. I made sure all the I made sure all the cables were good for that job, and I made sure the cable clamps were all tight every day. I checked the tightness of the cable clamps, because you'll tighten them down today, and on a brand new cable, and you use it for a couple hours, and then you could almost take them off by hand. So I did all of that, and I didn't make even one mistake. I didn't crush Octopussy, and I didn't smash the dock next door, and I rebuilt Louis' decks and docks, and he paid me the $125,000. So you think that is not something to be proud of? It is. It actually is, because here you are. If you make a mistake, you're going to do $1 million worth of damage. You're going to do that much. You're also not going to probably get paid from a guy. There's no contract for this job, by the way. The contract was to repair his deck for like $8,000. The rest of it was all, handshakes. That's it. But he didn't have to pay me. Not only that, even after I told him to go F himself, he might not have paid me. He was a hard guy to work for. This was nothing. But he did pay me. And Neil, what happened was, I said to Neil, you guarantee that he's going to pay me, I'll do the job. Otherwise, I ain't doing the job. And Neil said, I guarantee it. Neil's word was gold. And $100,000 to Neil, you're talking about guys that are making $10,000 a day in the store. They're doing $4,900 for Neil and $5,100 for Louis. That store, Royal, okay, I'll give you the name of the store. Royal Videos. Royal, R-O-Y-A-L. Royal Videos. Royal Videos. Royal Videos. And I don't know why, I don't know if Louis lived in the Kings Plaza Basin, in Mill Basin. He lived in Mill Basin. But Royal Videos, he was like the king of videos. I won't tell you the Blockbuster story today. But Louis told Blockbuster, you can't put a Blockbuster store in my neighborhood. And they did. And then it disappeared. Then they said, hey, what's going on here? And they said, you guys got to work this out. Louis, Royal Video, the king, the video king of the world, he was pretty much the video king of the world at that time. And Blockbuster, a guy that started with one store, is now making deals with Blockbuster. Don't put your store there. In fact, not only don't put your store there, but the possibility of the store disappearing is very possible. Then when the store disappeared, World Video said, screw this guy, and they rebuilt the store. And Louis said to them, not Louis, but Louis said to them, you could build the store, just don't open it up. You put the store there, put the name up on front of the store, just don't open up the store. And they did that for a long time. It probably was up more than a year before they opened the store. Apparently those guys worked it out. I don't know anything about that. But I do know that Louis was not the kind of guy that you would mess with, and I was not. I don't care. Louis is making $100,000 a day cash, and he can't give me $125,000 to do a job that had a value of $125,000. Well, that's not my problem. That's his problem. So those were interesting times. So no damage was done to the boat. No damage was done to any of the men. And I did the job. And I think that was just one of... I got the job for Mill Basin Marina from there. And I had to go back to the bridge job that they were rebuilding the North Channel Bridge. They were pulling the pilings out of North Channel Bridge. Donald Sturdivant was the foreman on the ringer barge, and he was pulling the clusters out from the North Channel Bridge. That's how I got into the Dock Builders Union, because they wanted me to be a boat captain, but I didn't want to do that. So I joined the Dock Builders Union for another reason altogether, to rent them my barge. But Donald Sturdivant, he said he'd just come and take the poles. So he would I would bring my barge, because these poles were wet. They sank. They were in the ground 100 years. He would put 4 poles on either side of my barge, and then I'd tie a cable, snatch a cable onto 2 or 3 more, and I'd put giant spikes, like, well, they weren't even spikes. They were 3/4-inch bolts. And I'd pound the bolts into the poles, and then I dragged them back to mill bait. The poles were actually in the water. They were dragging along the bottom of the bay the whole time there. Forget about backing up. That you went forward. You didn't go back, because the poles would have been complicated. You could make a circle and go the other direction, but backing up was not possible because of the way I had the poles. Anyway, that's what I did for a living. What did you do for a living? Oh, not so much. Oh, sorry to hear that. So then we have overachievers and we have underachievers. Now, so that's just one of my many accolades. Then, I got to tell you, not long after I did that job, I went back to Louie's house for something. I don't know what it was, but I remember hearing a story that a guy was building the boat Thunderball, and he was putting jet engines in the boat so that he could beat Octopussy. Octopussy had 3 MTU 16 high-powered diesels, 3,500 horsepower diesel engines with Wacamo jets or something like that. I could look it up. Hold on. I don't know. Let me get rid of this. Okay, let me get rid of this. Show more. It did 53.17 knots. John Staluppi of Octopussy. It was 44 meters in length, and it was docked in Sheepshead Bay. Why, I don't know. And it had 3 MTUs. It's in one of the videos. If you look it up, it's pretty cool the way they built it. They built it out of aluminum. It was built in HeesonYachts.com. It's a yacht building company. I'll give you the. No, I can't give you the link. I think I could do that. It was built in Denmark, I think. Let me copy that link. You guys could look it up. So, and it was pretty cool working. Now, I did not work next to one of the kings from the Arab countries. I don't remember the king's name. So I pull my barge into a harbor. I'm on my way to Florida from New York by myself. I don't remember where I was. It was somewhere near Little Creek, Virginia. And I had just been released from the Coast Guard after doing repairs. And I pull in. It was between Little Creek, Virginia, and North Carolina, probably. Could have been even in North Carolina. I don't know where it was. Could have been Virginia, could have been North Carolina, could have been South Carolina. So anyway, I pull into this. I pull into a marina at the head of the marina, because that was the only place the barge would fit. It was 30 feet wide and 50 feet long. So you have to go to the dock master and ask him for permission. And what the dock master will do is he'll come out, he'll measure your boat and the width of the boat. If you have a boat, I had a barge. So he measured the barge. The width of the barge was 30 feet, 10 meters, and it was 55 feet long. Oh, with the stern drive, it was 60 feet. So he gave me 55 feet. So he charged me, I think it was $120 a day. So when I pull in, I got the motors running. And the 2 guys, literally 2 men, I look up and there's 2 men standing on this black boat. It's a black boat with black plexiglass. From the front of the boat to the back of the boat is all black. And even where they covered the cabin was black smoked glass or plexiglass. And I look up because I'm by myself and I'm tying up the lines. I hadn't slept in days. I hadn't taken a bath in who knows how long, 2 or 3 days. Because when you run in the boat, there's not a lot of places. You got to wait till you port to take a shower or a bath. and two guys with machine guns. I'm looking up like this right here, and they're right above me, like 10 feet above me. Two guys with machine guns, not aimed at me, but on their chest going like this to shut the motors off. And that was the king of somebody's country. And that boat, I don't remember the name of the boat, if it even had a name, but that boat went 80, now from what I understand, that boat went 80 miles an hour. And this was back in 1998. So the Octopussy was built back in the 80s, in the mid-80s, and this was already now 1998. So they had jet turbines in that boat. And I never got to see anybody but the guards. So whoever the guy was, he was the king of somewhere, and the guys walked around the decks with machine guns. So that was interesting. I should have, I don't know, I didn't take pictures. If I did take pictures, I don't know where they are. But it was interesting bringing the barge from New York to Florida, because that's what men do. They do things that are seemingly impossible. That's the difference between men and men that think they're men. Men that are men do the impossible stuff in life. Men that think they're men, they do things. They do the everyday things. They read magazines. They talk. Mostly they just talk. They don't have many pictures or true stories. Or could you go through this video and look up Royal Videos? That if they had a store on Cross Bay Boulevard? Probably. Could you go through Royal? Could you look up the story about Blockbuster Video, Jewish Fire, Jewish Lightning? Probably. Could you look up Louis, the king of Royal Videos? I don't remember his last name. Probably. I don't know. This was back in the early mid-'80s. Could you look up Mill Basin, multi-millionaire yachts? Probably. Probably you could look that up. You could probably look up all the things I talked about without, I'm not looking at websites and all that other crap. I'm doing this from what I did in life. What I talk about in my live streams is all true stuff. Now, I could tell you a story about Thunderball, which I saw the boat years later, but maybe I'll save that for another day. Now, so what I will tell you, that there was a boat called Thunderball. The only videos I can find on the internet are in Kablo or Kablu or someplace like that. Hold on. Thunderball in Cabaretta. The only place I can find this boat is in Cabiria, C-A-B. I'll give you. Here's the name of the video. But I worked next to this boat as well, and I have. At the time, I didn't even know I was working next to this boat. It was also parked in Mill Basin, because these guys, the guys who owned Thunderball and the guy who owned Octopussy, they were friends, or they were rivals in who was going to build the fastest super yacht at the time. Back this goes, these guys are egomaniacs. They got millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. They don't care how much it costs, just build it. So that was funny working back then. And some of the people I met, the people that, probably almost all the people in all the movies, the Italian movies, at one time or another, either I met them or I knew them. That was interesting. And only I didn't know them because I met them and worked. I did work for most of the families, but I knew them because I grew up with their children. So that was an interesting time to live. Now, Jack Thompson is in the house. Welcome again back to the machine. Jack Thompson says octo is Latin for 8. 8. Oh, he's talking about Octomom. there was a woman, I don't remember when it was, probably the 2000. Some woman had 8 children, and then they made a whole bunch of videos about her. Octomom, her name was, and that she became famous. I don't remember what she became famous for. Let me look that up. I'll give you the driving by Mill Basin. Which one do I want to eliminate? Octopussy documentary. I don't know that. Channel videos. Let's see if we can. No, that's not it. I don't want to do that one. Videos. I don't remember why Octomom became famous, but it was either in the year 2000, 2001, 2002. It was something. I don't want to. Hold on a second. Let me just. That's not the video I want. Let me just open up a new thing. Octomom. 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 Nadia Schulman was her name, an American personality. Okay, so if we go here, I'll give you the link. I'll give you the link that you can search anything you want out on this woman. She became famous because she became famous because she had octuplets. Okay, that's what it was. She had in vitro fertilization, and she had 8 babies. That's how she became famous. And then they nicknamed her Octomom. And here's the link from Wikipedia. Okay, so apparently I'll read a little bit. Nadia Denise Dowd Schulman, born Natalie Denise Schulman, July 11th, 1975, known as Octomom in the media, is an American media personality who came to international attention when she gave birth to octuplets in January 2009. 1 week after the birth, they surpassed the previous worldwide survival rate for a complete set of octuplets. The circumstances of their high-order multiple birth led to controversy in the field of assisted reproductive technology, as well as investigation of the Medical Board of California of the fertility specialist involved. Okay, so here's the link. That I don't remember. It's not something I got involved with or covered or was even interested in, but she became a very famous person. So here's the link. I'll put that down 3 times. So I don't know if anybody else has ever birthed 8 children at one time, and I don't know. It just, you could follow the link, but she was very famous. So Paige High is a doctor, and he would know. He gave the name right away. Apparently, Pinoy has 18 kids. No, not 18 kids. Some nut job. Doc gave her in vitro fertilization. Yes. See, Paige High as a doctor, this would be something he would be 100% aware of. So Paige High is an expert. Now, the guy who gave her the in vitro fertilization got in trouble for that. Or his in vitro fertilization methods were looked into. Okay, all right, now that's bringing back the memories, right? Paige High says, I think you're right about that. I think you're right about that. Let's see if it goes on. Let's see if it talks about that. Marriage and divorce. Octuplets. Schulman. It doesn't say anything about her doing porn. It doesn't say anything about that. Oh, wait. No, okay, not that. There might be something. I don't know if Paige High is pulling my leg or not. with that. I kind of remember personal bankruptcy, social workers, anxiety, exhaustion, stress. She was accused of welfare fraud. Okay, maybe you're talking about jobs. Okay, jobs. Oh, here it is. Shulman worked as an adult entertainer dancing in men's clubs. That's right. All right, so oh, wow. Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. Wow. Shulman, all right, I'll just give you the one little segment of the article. It says Shulman worked as an adult entertainer dancing in men's clubs. She released a single called Sexy Party with Adam Barta in September, and he held her breasts while surrounded by crucifixes on a bed on the crucifixes on the compact disc artwork. The cover, she said, was inspired by Madonna. Okay, so we'll give you this snippet. This is under the job description of the person. What was her name? Shulman something. All right. I don't remember the name of her name. It's not something I would remember. It's not. I never got involved with it, but Page High gave us the name. Natalie Sulkeman. Well, I don't know what that says there, but anyway. So let's talk about. Thank you, Page High, for the name. I would have never remembered her name. I only just remember that as something passing in and around. I was writing my book, so I was online. So let's talk about John Escape now. First of all, we have to find out. John, are you still there? I apologize for making you wait, but I'm also looking for you to send me a ballot buy-in box if you're still there and you want to let me know. I got a list of stuff I would like you to put in the box for me, please. Well, wait. Yeah, okay, so he's here. So, first of all, are you still willing to send a couple of ballot buy-in boxes? I want to wait for the reply because I have a list of stuff that I want. Yeah, okay, so I'm pretty sure he's going to say yes because he offered. Now, if he offered, I'm good. So I guess he left the yes up there because yes is yes. All right, so John already got me a water distiller from I think he said it was water, whatever I want. Sure, what is it that you want? Whatever I want. So, okay, well, I know you got the water distiller, and thank you very much for that. So what I really miss is peanut butter, and they have these jars of peanut butter. They're like 42 or 47 or 48 ounce jars of peanut butter. I would like 12 of those big jars of peanut butter. It's actually a plastic tub. One creamy Skippy peanut butter. One creamy, one box of 12 of creamy peanut butter, and one box of crunchy, if that would be okay. And I was also thinking, let me show you this because I only have one of these left. 5-pound jars. That's the one. Hold on. Let me show you the jelly that I'm interested in getting to go with the peanut butter. All right, hold on. I got them right here. All right, this is This is my last bottle. This is my last bottle, Schulman. This is my last bottle of jelly. I gave, I tell you that I give the neighbors, some of the neighbors, special things. These are what I gave out for Christmas. This is a Concord grape jelly, Schmuckers. This is the one I like, and it's 48 ounces. That's 3 pounds. I would like Schmuckers jelly, the grape this size in the glass jar, and I would also like, they come in cases of 12. When I bought them from Costco, they came in cases of 12. You could get, if you could get it in the grape, and you could get it in the strawberry, or you want to get the jam, all right, the strawberry is a jam, I think. So yeah, that would be cool if you could get it in the. But I also would like. Well, it's up to you if you want to get the grape. I'll just, if all you want to do is get the jam, it's up to you if you want to be a cheap motherfucker. I mean, that'd be up to you. I don't really care. But I really want both. Okay, it's up to you though. If you ain't got the money, then you might. Well, we could just forget about the whole thing. It's up to you. I'll leave that up to you. So. But I got more stuff that I want. Okay, all right. Okay, 12 of each. 12 grape and 12 strawberry jams. Okay, thank you. All right, so now there is, you're going to have to do, because these weigh 3 pounds each. So that's 12 times 3 is 36. We're already up to 72 pounds in the box. So I got some light stuff that I want to get in the boxes too. What I really need is I want some, this pillow I got here, the pillow that I got, it's a down pillow. I like sleeping on down pillows, but the feathers are all crunched up from being washed. That the feathers it's not fluffy anymore. So if you put 12 of these grape and 12 strawberries, the boxes are 24 by 26, right? But that's already 36 and 72 pounds. The boxes max out at 100 pounds. So you could put 1 case of strawberry, 1 case of grape, and then in the peanut butter you could just get 12 5-pound tubs. That's 50. So in the box of the strawberry and the grape, I would like it if you would get me 2 or 3 down pillows, and that you could put them on top of the cases to fill up the boxes. That would be for the strawberry boxes, 3 down pillows. 1 for me, and 2 to prop somebody up so that the angle is right. So 3 pillows down, and the strawberry and the thing. Now there's the other food items that I really can't get here, and it's okay. Now you got to understand something. When I shipped the salamis, the battery backups for the distiller, that'd be nice. That'd be nice, because that'd be really cool. Can you get me the solar-powered battery backups for that? Because they have, they use a lot of electric, but I have a lot of sun here. So if you could get me the solar-powered, it's an 1,800-watt solar power. My Pillow, right? Scott is here with the suggestion. If we're gonna get this done, we might as well. Yeah, okay. The 1,800-watt solar-powered battery backup would be perfect for the water distiller, and then I could also I could unplug the distiller and have a fan at night if we had a blackout. Scott Del Fuego was saying, once you've tried My Pillow, you would never go back. I just bought 3. Best ever. Stopped with down when I tried those. Well, sometimes Scott Del Fuego's full of shit, John. So if we're gonna get some My Pillows, put 3 of the down pillows in one box, and put 3 of the My Pillows in the other box with the water distiller and the peanut butter and the battery backup. Because Scott Del Fuego, sometimes he's a little I don't know if he's doing this to break my chops and confuse me, because now I'm confused. So what we'll do, John, is you put 3 down pillows in one box and 3 down pillows in another box. Warren, welcome to the machine. He's scamming again. He says, my dad, I'm working here, son. Sure, I have an online account. I get anything you want. Well, all right. So the other thing that I need, here, there's a mask. See these masks here? Okay. Now these are a little bit expensive, but I don't really care how much money you spend. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. If you got it, I'll take it. So this is this mask here. We're going to talk to Warren as soon as I get through the mask. I don't want to lose the internet and not get the mask, because these masks have 2 panels like this. But there's a new mask. This is a 1981 mask. It has 3 panels. 1, 2, 3. These are 3-panel masks with silicone. But what happened with the silicone after 35 years is it wore out a little bit. Let me show you what I mean. There's a part over here that it wore out. See how it just got brittle and it breaks off? I would like to get one mask like this with the 3 panels, and I would also like a new snorkel. But this is silicone here. If they have the silicone masks, that's okay, but if they have it in the black neoprene, that's okay too. They're both about $135, and a new snorkel to go with each mask. A good snorkel costs about $40, a good one, with the nice soft silicone, so when I put it in my mouth, it doesn't hurt my teeth or my gums. So if you could put 2 masks and 2 snorkels and a set of Avante fins, A-V-A-N-T-I, Avante scuba diving fins. All right. Well, let's go over it. You want to go over the list? Okay. 2 cases of peanut butter, 2 cases of jelly, 1 grape, 1 strawberry, 6 pillows, and a battery backup. Yep, that's exactly right. Exactly right. With the battery backup and the water distiller. And the water distiller. I need the water distiller. And then the 2 masks and the Avante fins, A-V-A-N-T-I, Avante fins. They're made in Italy, but they sell them in any good diving scuba shop. Now the fins are, get the ones with the webbing, the rubber webbing. They're like they're very long. The fins are very long. They're about 30 inches long. I wear a size 12, 13, like that, because I have wide feet. So just one, those fins will last me for 25 years. The other ones, so 25, 2, you want to send 2 sets of fins? All right. Well, then they have them in a clear color. It's also, the Avantes come in pink and they come in silicone. That'd be great. Send 2. That'd be fantastic. And I think that's it. Let me look around. No, I think we're good. If you could get those 2 boxes out to me, then what I'll do is I'll make room outside. Slow down. Okay, slow down. He's looking. All right, so he wants me to stop adding to the list. Cheap bastard. And I can't believe he's going to stop it. Oh, you're looking. Okay, slow down. I take that back. He's a good man. Not quite ready, yet for me to go for the gusto, but look, he's looking. Okay, so Warren is here. Let's talk to Warren, because Warren, you did get my messages, my friend, son. So let's just update you on Warren. Warren's ask for a new car too, Daddy, says Warren H. I'm setting him up for a tricycle, Warren. Shh. That's going to be cash. When I get the boxes, we'll see if he comes through properly. Because, you know, you never know. Could have just one case of jelly, and then I'm going to have to find a new mark. So, ask for a new car, Dad. So, Warren, let's upgrade. Warren, I'm going to end this live stream so I can talk to you if you're going to have time. In say 20 minutes. So we'll ask Warren if he's going to have time. Warren has been trying to send the money for the computer. John wants to send the car piece by piece. You can't do that, because what we'd probably have to do is get a container, a 20-foot cargo container. I'd like a Cobra, but I know that's asking too much. Okay, Warren has to go back into group. So Warren will confirm, because you've heard stories that I took Warren's money and GE Northrop's money and I didn't do anything. Warren will confirm that he hasn't even been able to send the money for the computer yet. So any stories you hear on YouTube that I scam people, besides John Escape, of course, that's over to the side. I have not received Warren's money yet. I'm not even being facetious. Armani face masks from Clark Henderson. I didn't know Armani is a designer face mask. Okay, John, did you get that? Scott Henderson uses Armani face mask, but these face masks, this one is just fine. I don't really care. This one is scuba. It's got the name a decor scuba mask. But the difference, the new ones don't have this black panel here. It's just glass to glass. It's like a molded glass. But if you get the one with the black panel, that's okay, because when you put it down on the ground, it doesn't get scratched up. I know it's a joke. So it doesn't get scratched up. So I would prefer these with the frame around the outside. You're going to see all different kinds of masks. It's going to be hard to pick. Just pick the two most expensive masks, 3 panels, one with silicone and one neoprene rubber, and we'll be good with that. Okay, so Warren has been trying for over 3 weeks to send his money to my account. It's not my money yet, but when it does get here, I'm going to buy a computer. So I hear stories that I've received $3,000. Well, the money is coming from Warren. He's the guy who'll tell you if the money came, because he's the guy that's going to tell you whether or not I spent the money properly. Warren H. Yeah, he'll tell you I didn't get the money yet. I didn't even get the first part of the money yet. The banks, let's talk about banking in the Philippines. Okay, so I now have 3 codes from my bank that I got from 3 different people. Each person, the manager of my personal bank. Okay, John. No, I don't want one of those. I don't. Well, the one, I know what you're talking about. The snorkel with the mask that goes right back. That'd be nice. That'd be really nice. The girls like those. One mask with the snorkel. Okay, I'll take 2 of those. I mean, you might as well fill this box up. There's no sense in sending a box that doesn't weigh the full 100 kilos, you know. I mean 100 pounds. 50 kilos these boxes are good for. Yeah, the mask with the snorkel that goes up around the back, I've tried. Those are really nice. Thanks very much, John. Thank you. That'd be cool. Okay, throw 2 of those in the box. That'd be nice. I don't really want to. What I'll do is, when I see that those boxes came, and I'll put together another list. Don't worry, I got more things that I'm gonna need. I'll put together a list of some stuff. Make it 3, says Clark Henderson. So, Clark, you should buy and box me. Clark Henderson. No, just kidding. So, Clark Henderson, did you get the mail that I sent you yesterday? The 100 plus videos? I'm pretty sure you did, but the email address. A generator? You know, actually, I'd like a generator, but I gotta tell you, John, those things are expensive. There's a Honda generator. It's about this big. It's 16 and a half inches long and 16 inches high and 12 inches wide. It puts out, I think it's a 3 or 4,000 watt generator. But to be honest, John, the Honda ones, yeah, the Honda's the only. Those things are 60,000 pesos, John. Already? I only gave you my email. I only gave you my shipping address, what, last Thursday? Okay. I'll put one in the shop, and I'll keep one in the house. Thank you. I didn't realize that you did that. Thank you very much. Okay, you haven't checked your email yet. Well, I put it in the mail, Clark, and I'm going to post another link. Thank you, John. I'm going to post another link. I'm going to have to go through videos, my Patreon videos. I'm going to send you, because of the medical assistance in advice only, off the record, for the advice that you gave me, probably was worth $1,000 of going to specialists, even though what you said was 100% accurate when I studied why you sent me the information you did. It did not stop the blemish on my leg from being infected. Nothing stopped it. It's still infected. The only thing that stops it from oozing clear fluid and a little bit of pink fluid is 100% no salt, 0 soy sauce, no MSG, and it will stop oozing. As soon as I take the smallest amount of salt, my leg, ankles swell up, which I'm going to do the experiment soon, and it starts to ooze. Still, to this day, it's 2 years now. John escaped. Let me get back to John, because I'm giving it to him. I'm helping him put the list together. Okay, so there's no limit to Balak buy-in boxes. Yeah, but these, I filled up the boxes already with 100 pounds. Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, so we're using a different shipping company, Two Bears. The shipping company that you're using, I'm not going to give the name of it, but there's a shipping company that charges $185 last April per box, no weight limit. I've seen that. But the shipping company that I use has a weight limit of 50 kilos, 100 pounds. But the boxes are only $55 per box, plus $5 for the cardboard box itself. So it's $55 for 100 pounds. The shipping company that has unlimited weight, Two Bears is correct, for $175, it's an unlimited weight. I agree with you. Let me get back to John, because yes, I can get Amazon deliveries, Jack Thompson. Thank you, John. All right. I appreciate that. So now, John, I want you to understand the things that I ordered from John about, well, last Friday when I gave him the address that he sent the Honda generators to, he said make a list. So I made a list. Okay? It's nothing personal. I mean, he asked me for a list of stuff that I could use, I gave him a list. Anybody else out there need a list? I'll work on that today. So, thank you very much. We might as well sing and bang the pot for John Escape, because not only is John Escape at the highest level of my Patreon community, and not only does John Escape send me Super Chat on a daily basis, but now he's sending bulk buying boxes with those Honda generators are 58,000 pesos a piece. So let's give John a little shout out for John Escape. Salamat, thank you very much. Salamat, John Escape. So John is a very generous man, and actually what John does is he owns horses. I don't know racing horses, but he's been in the racetrack business since he's a little boy. So, John, what are the names? He has I like the way he thinks. He says money is just paper with dead presidents on it. It's good that you're spending your money now, because the more you give, which is the motto of the Church of Christians Plus. See, John we're going to make him, we might have a placard on the front door of the Church of Christians Plus, because it says the three things that you need to know to become a member of the Church of Christians Plus. Is better for you to give and for me to receive than the other way around. So John has fulfilled that prophecy like a Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. He has fulfilled that prophecy multiple times as the highest possible pledge in Patreon. And now he's sending bulk buying boxes with untold wealth. So, and a lot of that stuff is going to go to, well, one jar of Smucker's strawberry jelly, and one jar of grape jelly, and one jar of peanut butter will go to the barangay captain. Okay? So, because yesterday, not only did I get a pass from the barangay captain, but I got a 30-day unlimited pass. I can go anywhere I want for 30 days. Okay? And why? Because a long time ago, I did the barangay captain a favor. And now the favor came back. So I call up the barangay, say, look, I need a pass. Are you going to be there in the afternoon? He goes, no, I'll have somebody drop it off. And 5 minutes later, I had a pass, unlimited pass, which I used yesterday. So I have an unlimited pass to go out on any day of the week at any time between, let me look at this, 7 o'clock in the morning, I think, and 11 o'clock at night. I'm not going to show you the pass, because that would show you where I live exactly. Oh, we're not showing you that. Look at this. I went out yesterday, and the police officer, the man where I went shopping, you had to get the temperature of your head checked. He knows me, so it gives you dates there's a date on here. I don't even want to show you this, but so you're allowed to go to one place with this pass. You're allowed to go out for the day between 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. only. Okay, so that part of the pass I won't show you, and this part of the pass I won't show you either, because that gives you too much information. But this is the part of the pass that you're allowed to go out on these days. So if you go out to one place on that day, that's all you can go, one place. But I went to 2 places yesterday, and neither one of the people I gave the paper to canceled out my place to go. So I could have went to 3 or 4 places yesterday or more. But that's the kind of people that, now, maybe they didn't have to fill it out, who knows. But one place that I went to, I don't know if they're filling out that part of the permit or not. Either way, I went there, and then I went to another place. So the first place I went to, I took my bicycle. It was like 9 kilometers away, because in Alona Beach, they wanted, and I'm not being cheap here, to heck, I'm not being cheap. They wanted 160 pesos per kilo for cabbage. 160 pesos. That's $4 a kilo for cabbage, or $2 a pound. So there's another place about 5-6 kilometers away from that place. There's another small little mom and pop store that I went to. I was on the bike, and I went to that store, and I got cabbage for 80 pesos. Nice cabbage too. Let me show you. I got an 80, and so it was half the price, and the cabbage they had for 160 pesos, I didn't even want to eat it. So this is the cabbage. Now, I bought 5 kilos too, so they wanted 85 pesos, and I says, how much for 5 kilos? And they said 80 pesos per kilo. So look at this cabbage. This is nice stuff. Okay, and the bottom, how you can tell if it's rotted, solid. This was 80 pesos a kilo, just the way it is. The leaves were cleanly cut off. This happened, bringing it home, the brown leaf a little bit. 80 pesos a kilo from where I went. So I bought 5 kilos. But the first place wanted 160 pesos per kilo, and they weren't going to move. This is Alona Beach proper, right across the street from Giuseppe's Pizza. They weren't moving on the price. I said, what if I buy 5 kilos? And they said 160 pesos a kilo. I said, you know what, I'll just go. I told them where I go, and they said, go ahead, go. So I went. So not only did I save 80 pesos per kilo for 5 kilos, that's 400 pesos I saved. The aspirin that I bought, these aspirin here, okay, these aspirin that I bought a box of 10 package, 100 milligram aspirin. 10 package, 10 to a pack, 100 milligrams. So, 100 milligrams, 10 packages, so 100. So, 100 of these at 3.2 pesos per piece was 320 pesos, or $6.40. However, in Alona Beach, hold on, these are 100 milligram tablets. So for 100 milligram tablets, I paid 3.2 pesos each. In Alona Beach, the 80 milligram aspirin was 4.5 pesos each. So I saved 130 pesos by buying 100 tablets. Now, if I went into the city, I could buy these for 2 pesos each. So then I went into the city. I took the bicycle home. So I rode altogether 9 kilometers to the gulai, to the vegetable stand, then 9 back. And then when I got home, I took a bath, a little quick shower, shaved, and then I got onto a jeepney, because I have my pass now, and the jeepney was empty. The roads were empty. There were no people in the Philippines. I jumped on the jeepney, I went into the city, I jumped off by the BQ Mall, and then I went to buy more aspirin, and they had no aspirin. So fortunately, I had bought them, but those, at that store, it's 2 pesos per aspirin. I went to 12 different, not yesterday, but a month ago, I went to 12 stores before I found aspirin. That's why I buy them by the 100 when I see them. So the store that normally has them, that I bought 100 in last 2 months ago, they didn't have any yesterday. So if you shop around, these, you can buy these for 2 pesos each or 4.5 pesos, which is twice the price for the same name, same company, same box, same manufacturer. You got to shop when you're in the Philippines, and I shop. Now, getting back to the LaRue Seagrass, welcome to the machine. Clark Henderson says, John is the man. Clark Henderson, salamat. Thank you for giving John Escape a shout out. We love John Escape. In fact, I even have a shout out for John Escape from the deep. If I don't, I'm sure going to make one, tell you the truth. So he is the man. So we could have a John Escape room above the Warren H. Pavilion, Clark Henderson. We could do that. We could have a John Escape room. That would be cool. That'd be cool. And what we could do on the wall of the John Escape room, we could have pictures of all the stuff he sends me in the Balikbayan boxes. Or the more stuff that he sends, the more pictures. And the placard would be like, you know how you have the presidential suite and you have the governor's suite? We have the John Escape suite. That'd be cool. That's a good idea, Clark Henderson. Thanks. Thank you very much. Salamat. LaRue Seagrass is in the house. Thank you for the heart. Now, LaRue Seagrass and Jack Thompson, they have a very special place in their heart for one another. Jack will always go to LaRue's live streams, and I do believe that Jack does not know. I know for a fact Jack has a Facebook page. So if you want to see what a real man does for a living, Jack Thompson's Facebook page will show you Jack Thompson working with hydraulic fence post digging equipment. It will show you Jack Thompson building log cabins and building the interior of the log cabins and putting in the doors and the windows. Real men, real work truck. Real men do real work, and Jack Thompson is a real man, but he doesn't put it on YouTube. So if you want to see a different type of real man, Jack Thompson, Clark Henderson, or Paige High, or Scott Del Fuego. All of those men have every decision that they make all day determines whether or not somebody lives or dies many times a day. That's what real men do. Real men have real jobs, make important decisions, and when they make a mistake, sometimes people get injured or disabled for life or die because they screwed up. And so far, nobody on my page has ever told me that there's ever been a serious accident or miscalculation. And believe me, as a doctor, you could miscalculate. So we have a lot of real men on my channel, as opposed to fictitious troll accounts that just go, oh, you're the best. You make the best videos. Oh, if it wasn't for you, there would be no Philippines blogging. Blah, blah, blah. Unbelievable. Overachievers and underachievers should be a main topic one day. All right, so Big E says hello and LOL. I don't know what he's out. I don't know what he's now. I know what he's LOL, and he's LOL. And John escapes. When John said money is just paper with dead presidents on it, Big E said LOL, because he knows Big E is also. I'm allowed to say this, but Big E and John Escape they're at the highest reasonable amount of pledge on my Patreon community. Big E he started at the $20. Then I don't know why, but he said he's giving me a gift on a show that he did, and he moved it up to the $50 plateau. Then one day I sent Big E a series of 100 videos that are from my Patreon account. They're not the best, they're not the worst, they're just the last 120 videos, and he went from 50 to 100. Salamat, thank you very much, Big E. And John Escape, he went from 20 to 100 a long time ago. He loves me. I like the way he thinks. What do you want? Make a list. I'll send you the stuff tomorrow. I don't know how he does it. He actually runs. His family races horses professionally. Aqueduct, Belmont, Racetrack. I think there's a racetrack in Hialeah. If I don't remember, it's been a long time since I've been to Miami. John could tell you. But his family's been in the horse racing business since he was a little boy. And now he's also, to some degree, in that business. In fact, last week, he was offered to take 3 horses from Miami to Kentucky. For what reason, I don't know. Okay, all right, I remember. I won't tell you where he works, but where he works, the horses are not running. So the horses need exercise. So John explained to me that he was either taking 3 horses or 5 horses. I don't remember. From Miami to Kentucky. But he didn't go with the horses. He was gonna, but he didn't, because he had something else to do at the track. I don't know what it was that he does. He doesn't tell me what he does at the track. He just tells me, I'm going to the track, I gotta go. And he goes. And he leaves for the track at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So when he's on the live stream ordering stuff for the ballot buying boxes, any minute he might just say, I gotta go, because he goes and takes care of the horses. The horses wake up, or they start doing whatever they do with horses at 3 o'clock in the morning. The John Escape Room. All right, we got that, Big E. John Henderson, nice name, Clark Henderson. Got a ring to it, yeah, John? The John Escape to Paradise Hotel. We could name part of the hotel, or we could name it the John Escape Paradise Hotel Wing. We'll just make the 3rd floor above the Warren H. Pavilion, the corner, we'll make it the John Escape Paradise Hotel Wing. I could do that. We get all those boxes the way we laid that out. I'll put that on the plans. No problem. So LaRue says hello to our dear friend Warren H. Thank you for stopping by, LaRue. Now, LaRue Seagrass has a beautiful Philippines channel where she talks a lot about Jesus. Praise Jesus in the name of the... I always believed in Jesus. I still believe in the power of Jesus, but I believe in Zen Buddhist prayer a little bit more for healing purposes. I could tell you why, but we'll leave that for another day. Oh, he's now, see, talking about that. A new regulator? Yeah, John, I do. I didn't want to talk about... Some of those regulators are expensive, though, John. I don't really want you to... But if you want to get me a regulator, I could use one with the and also the backup regulator on it. My backup... I don't have a backup regulator on my regulator, actually. I do when I go diving on a dive boat, but my tank just has one stage, one regulator, one mouthpiece. I figure no one lives forever. I know you're supposed to have two, but to be honest, I don't. It's a Mares, M-A-R-E-S, Mares. Mares makes a nice medium range regulator for about $200, and it has a backup. But if it doesn't have, if you see one for around $200 that doesn't have the backup, don't worry about it. I could still use my mouthpiece. It'll still be a 2-stage regulator. So I'm good with that. If you can get me a regulator and put it in, if it fits in the box, that'd be great. Thanks, John. Did you see that, Clark? Did you see the price of crude oil come down to $20 a barrel? $40 a barrel? I heard that on a report I was watching last night. That crude oil was negative profit. They were selling it for less. And the reason they were doing that, Clark, is because they had no place to store the oil that they're pumping out of the ground. And when I went on my bicycle trip yesterday to the 2 different stores, petroleum came down to $43.9 per liter from $54.9. So it came down 25%. 25%. And diesel came down to $46.3, I think it was, from 57. So that came down 11 cents. 11 pesos on per liter, on 11 pesos a liter. So it went from 57 to 46. Now, I don't know if it's going to go any cheaper than that, but I haven't seen... Well, when I moved here, petroleum was 23 pesos. Then it went up to, like I said, 54 pesos a liter. Now it's down to 43, I think. 43. I wasn't paying much attention to the prices, but I did notice it. And then when I came home, I saw the price of crude went down to $20 a barrel. Yeah, Clark is right up on this stuff. John says, I always help my friends. Message retracted from John. Gulfstream. A Gulfstream? You want to send me a Gulfstream? The portable... Warren wants John to put a portable helipad in a ballot buying boxes. LOL. Scott says he doesn't know what John is doing with horses at 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, they got to get... When I had a horse, when I lived in California, you have to run a horse a lot to keep it in shape, because it just stands there all day. The muscles atrophy. Workouts start at 4 a.m. till about 8 o'clock in the morning. When my horse's name was Buckaroo, and Mr. Austin used to make me... He goes, look, I'm going to let you use the horse, but you got to use the horse every day. So every day, it was my job. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And it was his way of getting up at 3 times a day to feed the horse and to exercise the horse. You got to exercise the horse. And so you got to feed the horse, you got to run the horse, you got to saddle the horse up, you got to wipe the horse down, and when I lived in San Diego, I lived right near Carlsbad Racetrack. I would take the horse from Mr. Austin's house, which was 1050 Golden Trail, Vista, California. I would take it right over to the Carlsbad Racetrack, which was a couple of miles away, but you could see the racetrack from his house. And I would take it also to Thibodeau's Pond, and I forgot the name of it. We called it Tomato Lake. It was a lake on the top. It was a reservoir on the top of a mountain. But I had to ride the horse every day. If I wanted the use of the horse, I had to ride the horse every day. So I rode a horse every day for 2 months, and there were no fences. If you went further than where there was food and you wanted to camp out, any farmer would give you tomatoes or watermelon for free for the horse and fresh water naturally, and you have a safe place to sleep. In any farmer's barn that I ever went to, they let us sleep. And we would go, me and Robin, forgot the girl's name that we went with. Robin was a man, a 14-year-old man my age, and the girl was about 15 years old. And we would just go ride around anywhere in Southern California, anywhere. We would go from Vista to Black's Beach with the horses, which was 17 miles, 34 kilometers. It would take all day to get there, and we'd camp out on the beach for a couple of days, and then we'd come back. And we never paid for tomatoes or watermelons, and we would eat tomatoes and watermelons. And the horses would eat tomatoes, watermelons, and hay. The farmers back then gave us free hay and free food for the horses and free vegetables. Whatever was, Southern California was a major growing area. All right, John, you're going to go. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. All right, thank you for the presents, for the what we call pasalubong. Salamat. Thank you. Well, we got it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, John Escape. Salamat for the pasalubong, baby. Salamat. Good night. John is saying good night to Clark. Clark is saying good night to John. Okay. I can call you tonight because in the afternoon, well, you're sleeping in the afternoon. I could call you tonight when you get back from the horses. And if there's anything else I need, I'll just make a list, okay? Thank you. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's my story for today. Clark Henderson, I still have to do that video where I do the experiment by eating, thank you, John, salt and soy sauce to watch my ankles swell. But before I do the experiment, I'm going to do like a 5K ride on my bicycle and get my ankles down to normal, because I am no longer taking any medication. Another successful scam. That's right. Listen, I run a legitimate scam. I do this all above board. Everything I did today was above board. I haven't sent out any money requests or things I need. Everything is today. I scored today. All right. I made a score today. But John has been asking me for almost a year to send me some stuff. And I said no. The other day he said, look, Mike, I got time, and the money is not an object. I got time and I got the money to do it now while we're not working, because his real job, to give you an idea what a different type of man does for a living, John's real job is supervising several hundred employees. And when I say several hundred, I mean there are 1,400 people that work directly under John's supervision. But his part of the business itself, he has the supervisors that work under him directly, and they have about somewhere between 450 and 650 people, depending on the season, that work directly under John Escape's supervision, and he works directly with the board of directors of that agency. Okay, so when the board of directors 3 weeks ago were deciding whether or not to open the business back up again, and if so, how they could make a profit, John explained to me that he didn't say anything at all. It was a video board of directors meeting, and there were several people in the video conference, and John didn't say a word. And the president of the board of directors, or the association, said, "John, how come you didn't give us any input?" And his input was this to the board of directors: we need to close the business down. 1,400 people out of work. And they asked him why. And John and I had talked about this about 2 or 3 days before the meeting, and I told John, based on what you told me, the business, and I'm being serious now, this is not, you know, this is what I told John. I said, how much money does the business take in a month? And he said a little over $1 million a day the business turns over. And I said, how much of that is profit? So he basically said for that building, it was roughly, after they paid the employees and the government and the taxes and the rent and the electric and all the money for all the entertainment and whatnot, about $200,000 a day was profit. Now, so he said, what do you think? I said, about my business. And I said, be honest with you, they're not going to be able to turn a profit when the lights go back on. Because if they have social distancing, it's going to remove 70% of the profits, because the people that you're not going to be able to put, you're only going to be able to put 30% of the people in the building. So the $800,000 a day in overhead, or $800,000 out of each million earned in overhead, it was $200,000 profit. So take 1/3 of that profit, and that comes out to $70,000 roughly. Well, if it's a $70,000 profit, but you still have $800,000 a day, or $800,000 out of that million, still has to go to the employees. You still need as many employees. The electric bill doesn't change, and the salaries of the special compensated people, they never change. That's never going to change. I told them the business can't make money. So when the president of the board of directors of the association that John is a major player in said to the board of directors, when they asked him for his advice, he said, we should close the business down. Now, I don't know where the business is right now, but that was my advice. Even though it's going to put 1,400 people out of work, that business can't make money anymore. That's one business that won't make money. Now, Big E's business, he builds things that revolve around the new disaster that's occurring worldwide. His business has expanded 200 or 300%. His business has expanded. So his business is booming. John's business, if it opens the doors, at best, currently with social distancing, at best it can stay open 3 to 5 months, and then it's going to close anyway. And I got to tell you, I've been to that business. I didn't know John ran the business, but I've been not inside the business per se, but I drove by it. It's a huge, huge complex. Bigger than, it's big. Okay, there's no way they could maintain the overhead with the social distancing. So we see the wordsmith is back. Oh, another successful scam by the master, says Scott Del Fuego. Salamat. Yeah, we scammed. Did you see the part where I told him he was a cheap bastard? And then he said no problem, and I had to retract that? I mean, listen, you tell me to make a list, I'm going to make a list. I was half kidding at the time, but I mean, either you're going to send me a ballot buy-in box or you're not. If you want me to fill them up, I'll fill them up. I'll fill them up, you ship them. No problem. I got the easy part. The hard part is when I get them, is storing all that crap. Woe is me. I like the way LaRue Segrest always interjects. Still here, host. Doing things around the house. Have a blessed evening to the people around there. All right, I'll tell them. I'll tell a few. LO1, good one for you, Scott. That's right, baby. Hi, LaRue. Good to see you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have scammed proper. I have run a legitimate scam today. Everything was above board. I told you true stories about the boat that I worked next to called Octopussy, who owned the boat, where the boat was moored in Mill Basin in Sheepshead Bay. And that's in the area called King's Plaza. And the owner of Royal Videos, Louis, the Video King. All of those are true stories. All of those are true stories. So I want to thank Clark Henderson for stopping by, Paige High, Scott Del Fuego, LaRue Seagrass, John Escape, BK, Mrs. Hapster. Who else was there? Warren H. Oh, and there was two other people beside Two Bears. Two Bears was one person. Paige High, and that's pretty much the people that stopped by today. Jack Thompson mentioned the Hapsters. Yep, Chris Alexander, another super pledger on my Patreon. Philippines on Demand, Chi Corsairs. Stop by, Salamat, Expat Prepper. Oh, I didn't read Expat Prepper's comment. I worked for Donald Trump for a short time when he had his airline. Yeah, Trump Airline. I remember that. Expat Prepper is a licensed A&P jet mechanic as well. Although I only worked for the private industry for a short period of time, Expat Prepper did it for a living. So we would have a lot to talk about, but not, he would bury me in knowledge when it comes to stuff like that. Thank you for stopping by, everybody. So we're going to say goodbye, and I'm going to actually, what I'm going to do, still low tide, so I can't go swimming. I'm actually going to make a cabbage with wine vinegar and a little bit of imitation mayonnaise dressing. That'll be my lunch. I have to lose weight. I actually gained, well, I don't know how much I gained, but this shirt used to be so tight it wouldn't fit. Now it's got slack in it, but about 6 weeks ago, before the lockdown, it had a lot of slack in it. So it's got a lot less slack in it now. I gotta work on that. And the way I gotta work on it is just to eat more salad. Clark Henderson, Mike's new career. No, Clark. Okay, Clark. Next time John comes on, you ask him if I was correct. Now, the information that I gave John, he didn't use that information because I gave it to him. He asked me my opinion. We concurred on the information, the value of the information. Now, the owner of the business is still going to open a business, according to John, but neither one of us think that the business is going to last, or unless they have money buried somewhere. I don't see how a business, if you knew what the, I'm sure it'd be okay if you knew what John's business was. I'll even give you the name of the business. Next time I send out an email, I'm sure it'd be okay for you to know, or Scott, or Warren, or somebody like that. I'll tell you the name of the business. You could give me your opinion. So Clark Henderson is having a little laugh. Having a laugh, are you? Clark Henderson, Mike's new career as an economic analyst. Amazing how Mike has a good grasp on multiple subject matters. Well, I was in business. I mean, it wasn't the most successful business in the world, but it was okay. I mean, I worked 100 days a year, and somehow or another I managed to pay $9,000 a month in mortgages and payments and insurance and gas costs. Scott Fazio is not just another pretty face. Salamat. So, yeah, I mean, if you have, you know, in order to get my business licenses, well, you have to take an economic course. So did I. In fact, the books to pass the economic business part of my excavation company in Florida were just as complex to pass the business part of the license as it was the working end of machinery and equipment. In fact, it was more difficult because, you know, you have to do formulas with profit margins and percentages. So, and spreadsheets, which I could do, but I mean, it wasn't. All right, so Clark Henderson has two interesting true stories about Trump. And back in 1987, I will share with you one day. You can share them privately. I won't necessarily, I would never put them publicly. So, yeah, that'd be nice. See, that's what brings the interesting people to my channel. I know, well, while Scott is here, Scott, would it be okay that I told Clark Henderson what you do for a living? So I'll ask Clark Henderson. I'll ask Scott Del Fuego. And then share, you two, I will share your email addresses with one another. Because you people are on the same level, way above me. Way above me. So if Scott is still here and he wants to answer that question, I'll give you guys, I'll share your email address. I know that nobody's going to spam each other. And then Scott, okay, yeah, no, I know Clark Henderson for multiple years. And Scott says, I don't care. You know Clark Henderson is a solid guy. Yeah, okay, so I'll do that. I'll do that. I will do that. Thank you, Clark. And you two guys, you live in the States, and you can share, you are in almost the same business, believe it or not. So, all right, thanks, Scott, and thank you, Clark, and thank you for coming, everybody. I'm gonna go. It's getting. I haven't put the aircon on in a little while, but you know what? If I get a little water, I could talk for another minute. If anybody has anything they want to say it now. Oh, one thing I would appreciate if anybody's out there still, which I don't know. It's a long time. Is if you do have time and you're subscribed, please check to see if the bell on your subscription is still rung, because I put out a video for a shout out for Scott Del Fuego and Canoe in the Philippines, and they had like 30 views in 3 hours. That's ridiculous. And then I put out a shout out yesterday for the Hopsters, and I put out a deep sea dangers video, and it got 87 views. Come on. The Hopsters got like 50 views. Come on. 20,000 subscribers. The bells on your pages are not clicked. Or if they are clicked, Scott Del Fuego said he didn't get a notice yesterday of anything I was doing, live stream or videos. Big E said he didn't get a notice of anything I was doing, live stream or videos. I didn't get a notice that people were having live streams, but I knew what time they were on. I saw them, but I didn't go on them because I was tired. I did 18 kilometers on the bicycle, and then I jumped on a jeepney and went to the city and went to like 4 stores to do some things. I had to do some things. So, all right, Clark, be well. Thank you. Scott, good night. All right, so we're going to end it. Clark Henderson, be careful. Scott Del Fuego, same thing. There is no, you guys got tough jobs. All right, we're going to end it. All right, bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Ping Permy from the Philippines, baby. Remember those 3 things, ladies and gentlemen. It is better for you to give and for me to receive than the other way around. Jesus loves you, and Jesus' favorite #1 saying, better for you to give than to receive. And remember those 3 things with Mr. Obama. Oh, I love you, Michael Fazio. I love you. I love you too, Mr. Obama. You made me famous. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody. I'm Ping Permy.